stop that. Okay, I want to thank everybody for, having me here today. This is really cool. My name is Marla Isaac, and the company is New England Reptile and Raptor Exhibits. I got to tell you a little brief history, and the kids are going to get a kick out of this one. I was that child that went and rescued every neighbor from the terrible snake and the terrible snapping turtle and things that they did not understand. I was the daring child that went and picked it up and understood it, and people would look at it in amazement. But one of the things I like to tell the children is knowledge is power. And how I became a naturalist, self-taught, was through books, libraries. Books will never go out of fashion. We'll always have books. Mankind's been writing books since day one, keeping records. And it's a beautiful thing. And you learn from that. And I want you to remember that after this, because you might want to look up some stuff that I'm going to cover. Today we're going to learn something about my feathered friends, the raptors, birds of prey, special group of birds that many people misunderstood and many people appreciate and some people don't like. And we have to look at the whole aspect of this. What makes a raptor so unique is the talons. Now, many species of birds, the study of birds is called ornithology. And birds are everywhere, worldwide. We see birds in the morning, we hear birds before the sun comes up. Birds are amazing. Worldwide, we eat birds. We eat them for a reason. They are lean. There's very little fat on them. Birds are important to mankind from the beginning. We have used them. The raptors, birds of prey, are important because these birds keep everything else in check and in balance and in proper health. Birds of prey called raptors have strong toes, and they have these very sharp claws called talons. These talons are used to grab their victims with and hang on. An eagle has, this is an eagle's talon, has 200 pounds per inch in its grip. The reason we wear special gloves is that these go through flesh and come up like this. They are used to grab their victims. Now we're going to learn something about the features of these birds. Before I go into it, shows like this, you have to understand there are permits for this. You cannot own a bird of prey or have bird of prey parts without special permits, and there's reasons for that. At one time, if we go back to the early 40s and 50s, we didn't know any better. People used to shoot birds of prey. It was a great sport to shoot 60 red tails in one day and pose with it. We found out when we did that, we caused problems. We caused rodent problems to explode. We had problems with diversity on species. So we stopped that. And in order to stop that, the Migratory Bird Act came into play. And that was to protect birds of prey and migratory birds. It's an international thing. Birds of prey, you are not allowed to own the body parts, mount, or live birds of prey without special permit from the federal government and the state you live in. I have earned that. In fact, all the birds you're going to meet today, I do not own. It's a stewardship. I am trained in this. It's passed on from somebody else. And I have to, the reason I have these birds is to present it to you. And the reason is, they are not my birds to use personally, for my own personal use. They belong to all of us. They are your birds, and I present them to you. You may not be able to handle them and touch them, but I will bring them out personally, up close and personal, walk around the room with them. The Migratory Bird Act, if it wasn't here, we'd have species extinct. One of the beautiful things about mankind is we master our environment. We have to learn to appreciate it. We did not create it. Okay, so what we have to do and learn today is appreciate these predators, because they are predators and they're unique. Now, if we look at the, divide them right down the middle, and I think the easiest way for me to explain raptors, birds of prey, is we're going to explain the daytime birds. Is there a word that describes you if you're active during the day? Does anybody know this word? And I'm going to ask you the second part. What is the word that describes you if you're active at night? Go ahead. Nocturnal. Why do you know nocturnal and not the daytime word? Because I think we are active during the day. I think it's because most children are up all night, right? So you know nocturnal. Actually, I'm going to teach you a new word. Do you know it? Diurnal. Diurnal. Very good. Diurnal means you are active during the day. Diurnal birds of prey or raptors would be hawks, falcons, vultures, and eagles. Who are the nocturnal ones? Owls. Owls, that's right. We're going to learn all about these in a unique way, and we're going to learn by using the body parts first. Now, this is a red-tailed hawk's foot. This is a real one. Now these birds are all roadkills. I have a set of permits that allow me to pick up the dead bird of prey off the road. I have to have federal and state permits in order to possess these for educational purposes only, not for ornaments. Now what makes birds so closely related to reptiles is they do have scales on their feet. Okay, and Velociraptor, well, not, movie Jurassic Park isn't that far removed from that. Typical bird's foot, 3 toes in the front, 1 in the back. This is called the hallux, this toe. In a bird of prey, these are the 2 killing toes. In rehab, if they lose the outer toe here, they can still survive. It's a perching bird. It would perch this way. So red-tailed hawk, diurnal, hunts during the day. This is a great horned owl's foot. Much different than the red-tailed hawk's foot. Can any of the children be scientists and figure out why the owl needs feathers on his toes and legs? Go ahead.
Because it needs to grab its prey.
Okay.
Like to kill it. And
okay, it grabs its prey. This one grabs it too, but why would this bird need all these beautiful feathers on its legs and toes?
Why silency?
Very quiet, that's right, like moccasins, because owls don't really fly around in the sky at night. They like to walk around in the forest. Yeah. It's cold at night. That's very good. If anybody's ever seen a snowy owl, they have a lot more feathers on their feet because they live in the Arctic and there's no trees, so you're always on the ground, and the ground never really thaws out, so it's a miserable place, but they survive. Actually, owls are farsighted. Does anybody know what farsighted means? Come on, we know this scientific.
They can like only see far, but they can't really see close.
Very good. Actually, everything up close is blurry and out of focus, okay? Ever wonder why an owl's face looks like a cat's face? Or it looks like a satellite dish? There's a reason for it. The feathers on the toes and the legs on an owl protect its feet from being bitten by the rodent because owls can't see real well when they grab their victim, and the victim fights back. Okay, you gotta remember that. This is the survival of the fittest. Another thing, this is called a raptorial foot. Okay? This is a raptorial foot, but it's called zactactical. And that word is kind of a funny word, and it means that an owl can do something this bird can't do. An owl can take this outer toe and move it to the back so it can have 2 toes in the back and 2 in the front. Reason is, owls can climb vertically up a tree or hang upside down, sort of like a woodpecker or a parrot. This bird can't do that. Owls are more cat-like than you can ever imagine. Yes, dear. Did you have your hand up? Did you want to ask me something? What do you want to ask me? That's right. That is right. Birds want to get away from other animals, bigger, right? Dogs and cats. Actually, you know, you're actually a bird expert and you don't even know that. Actually, even though it's a bird of prey, it is no match for a wolf, a coyote, or a raccoon, which can kill it. It's a fragile body. We're going to learn that. Bones break easily, and we'll find out why. One of the things in specialized feet, this is the specialized foot of an osprey, which is a fish hawk. Now, I always tell people, I says, when we look at the 2 groups, diurnal and nocturnal, we look at the feet difference, there are exceptions to the rule. We call these exceptions to the rule because these are specialized feeders. The osprey specializes in eating what? What's an osprey specialize in eating?
Fish.
Fish, that's right. In order for you to specialize in eating fish, you have to give up some sort of things, and you have to have more adaptations than the other diurnal birds of prey. One of the things is, osprey's feet are zactactical, like an owl. They can rotate the outer toe to the back and have 2 toes in the back and 2 in the front, because if you're going to carry off that fish, you better have equal pressure on every part so you can carry it. Another thing is, these birds have what we call spictacles. These are rough scales on the bottom of the feet, sort of like sandpaper. Because if anybody's ever tried to catch a fish and hang on to it if you're fishing, it kind of slips out of your hand, doesn't it? So can you imagine this poor bird has to grab it with these great big hooks, like fish hooks, and have this rough toe pads called spiculas so it can hang on to the fish and have 2 toes in the back and 2 in the front so it can carry it off.